I think the reason Liquid Chris did so good is that he wasn't like exactly trying to copy Chris's voice. It was like this weird South Park caricature version of it.
Yeah,
He got like the
there's
Southern
definitely a
accent down,
difference.
the stammering. Mm-hmm. Because you could definitely. It, it's
I
just
mean,
like character design, I guess,
it's
and
such a shit like cosplay at the start. It's just a
it
brown
is.
shirt that Christian has never worn, a paper sonotube medallion, and a pillow.
It's
And
like
it,
what is it like Mega Scott from Scott Pilgrim? It's like the exact opposite, but somehow still the same.
he, I, I, I think he was just trying to do it for his friends, and he does it just so stupidly well. It's just you're not supposed to take it seriously. It's so obviously just a joke with the limited supplies he had, and it
I
really
don't
works.
I don't get why people call Chris Chan like high functioning autistic because if you're gonna fall for something like that, it it you
It's
can't be high functioning.
it's because it was what he was diagnosed as. Yeah, because
I
he went
guess,
to
but
a therapist multiple times. He, I think the most recent time was 2004, I believe, and it
right.
was again high functioning autistic. He was,
He really has been just like wasting away in that room.
yeah, he just does not understand what it means to be a person. It's just lolcows kind of see media and they go, "This is how you're supposed to be. This is
Mm-hmm.
this is what being a
And
person
that's
is."
definitely what Chris has done his entire life. He's watched movies and like animated shows, and he's extrapolated that he should be like that instead of like going out and meeting people and like almost like because like his parents did that to him. They isolated him and like pulled him out and like put him in every which way, and he like didn't get like a good relationship with someone enough to like understand the fundamentals of talking to people. That's why he is the definition of cringe when, like in public. That's why it's so funny to see him like in like BronyCon or something because he is severely disconnected from the world.
Absolutely.
It's
He
why I don't really respect his parents.
again. That's another thing I find with Cobra. I always bring it back to Cobra. I love King Cobra JFS.
Oh, I don't mind talking about Cobra.
He 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 is so similar to Chris Chan to me because of that. People said, I think Dathan Hypernova was the defining person people said in the comments of my community post. But
Mm-hmm.
he can talk to people. In the police video that I showed,
Mm-hmm.
he's weird, but he can talk to people. Ethan Ralph, who I nominated myself, he can talk to people. Some people just cannot function in society, and
I think the place where it stands out the most is like there was like this weird like government thing that Chris went to. It was like for it was like the town hall, and like someone pointed Chris out and he's like, I want to nominate this man and give him like credit and blah 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 blah, and then he just monologues about Sonichu and all this comic stuff in the middle of like in town hall. It's so weird. I don't get how I can't even like begin to process how he thinks.
yeah, Solipsis. Like I said, this was 2004. I don't think he's been to a like who would diagnose it? I'll just say a doctor. I don't think he's been to a proper doctor since. I think this is what
Not at
people
all.
were wanting with the recent events. They wanted him to have a mental health check just to see
Yeah.
what they can find out because we don't know. No one knows. He Chris Chan, despite everything he's revealed, he is an anomaly. We cannot see his brain. We can only speculate. Like everyone thought, no one thought he could do this. Everyone thought he was just innocent. Like yeah, he pepper spray someone and that's as far as it go.
It it's always weird with like old cows that like have like a build up and then a payoff. Like even watching Randy Stairs videos, I cannot even begin to like see him in that supermarket killing people, but that's eventually what happened. It's I don't know with Chris. I can see Chris doing this because I think every even slightly interesting moment of his life has been captured in some weird way, because I think he quite literally, like, whether he tries to or not, his entire life he is acting for someone else, if that makes sense. He is doing something so that people can respond to it, because that's how his brain works, I guess. Because he's only ever watched like TV shows, and that's why like I've noticed like he'll go off about a product like it's like an ad read on like a TV show. Like
Yeah.
he'll go on about like Axe body spray, just to say it's cool, but it's like it's him because that's what he's picked up on. Like as a kid, it's like, oh, these characters do it, I must be able to as well, and that's just how he thinks how normalcy is, and it's like partly on his parents, it's partly on him, it's like partly on like the media that he consumed. It is like I'm like losing my train of thought here. It's just like he really is an anomaly.
Yeah, I
I don't
tried to
think.
discuss this in the Villains of Christian video I did ages ago, and
Hmm.
when I was writing the script, I could not figure out who would be to blame. I think I tried to settle on Christian, but even in the
Hmm.
conclusion, I said, yeah, his parents fucked him up as well.
I I think it was the perfect storm. I don't think there's one specific
Yeah,
person to blame. I think in the beginning it was his parents. And that's when I really like empathize with Chris. He's like very innocent in the beginning. He's even though he's like weird and he can't like get his stuff out right, he's still very
you
innocent.
you can you can see him
Get that.
trying to the right. He tries to be very kind. He tries to be very professional. He
He
doesn't
was
know how to
almost a
do it
normal
properly.
person then.
I wouldn't say he was a normal person, but I'd say
Well,
he had
he
good
was safe on the
intentions.
cusp of it. Mm-hmm.
Because like, please understand, I'm a,
Mm-hmm.
I'm a high functional
Yes, I'm
autistic
only a.
male.
But when I mean normal, it's just like he just acts like a kid, and now he just acts like an actual schizophrenic.
Yeah,
Like it was already too far gone even before the mom stuff. It, it it's really sad to see. Like I think when it was like just before he like transitioned, quote unquote. That's when it started really going downhill
I
for him
think
mentally, because
mid
that's when he started like screaming about Sonic.
mid 2010. I think I when I was doing the Christian documentary, I was thinking this is the point it kind of collapses. The Tom Ghost saga is kind of the
Mm-hmm.
good point, and then Bob dies a year later. A couple years later, his house burns down. He pepper sprays someone. He stays out of the limelight, but he continuously continues up just the worst actions that he had not done, even when the internet was at its harshest for Chris. So
Mm-hmm.
while the trolls are bad, a lot of people have said this. The trolls are bad, but they they have had an effect. But have they had that big of an effect on him? Probably not.
I don't. I think they. I believe they do. I think they were like one of the stopping forces of him like actually getting like. I don't want to say that. They're like a big part of like why he doesn't have access to so many things. I don't believe he can like even if he really wanted to and really tried hard. I don't think he could get a job now.
No,
I don't
no,
think he could pull
he's
like a
not been
real life
able to for
girlfriend.
years at all.
Yeah,
So
I think
in that
his
regard,
ultimate is that Google thing.
in that regard, absolutely. But the thing is, he wouldn't have done that anyway.
I don't
Which
know. I think the Google thing really stopped him
I don't know.
because there was like those reports on like before he like even got like famous that like he was just some creep with a DSI that would just like wave at girls and books a million and just like walk up to them and then like they would just think he's weird.
I don't
That's I don't know.
I don't think he'd worked for years even before he started like becoming known to the internet. So
Yeah, I don't even think
he
that's like on
had
him though.
the
I think that's how bad his autism is.
he had the tugboat, and that was all he really needed.
Yeah, because even
Maybe
then his parents couldn't teach him any better.
maybe the the trolls stressed him, because I believe he started using up the credit cards at some point in the later years, maybe like 2008, 2009, and I don't think he had been doing that before.
If you aren't subscribed to the Greasier Wizard, you aren't a real American.